All right, we should be ready, Jeff. Hello, hello. Welcome to UACNJ. We are just about to get started. So, we are live now at our actual physical site. So, welcome. It's a nice first day back for the for our normal public season instead of just our live stream that we had over winter season. So I'm just stalling a little bit because we do have physical audience now. If you guys would like and you're local to New Jersey, we are actually having physical programs every Saturday from April through October, as long as weather permits. So what you would do is go on through our website and hit up our reservation system. Because of COVID, we still do have the restrictions on the number of people we can safely host right now. But as things progress, we're looking to probably get that raised a little bit as we deem safe. So tonight's presentation is What's Up in the April Sky with Lonny Buinis. He's done many a talk here before. Lonny Buinis has been obsessed with all things outer space since childhood, when he looked through his first telescope and saw a pterodactyl pass over the moon. In the Age of Mammals, 1994, he helped to start the United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey, and in the Ice Age of 2016, UACNJ dedicated the Lonny Buinis Observatory. Like you, Lonny is skeptical of so-called experts and is not a professional astronomer. Why should you believe what he says? Even though Lonny holds degrees from Stevens Institute of Technology in physics, computer science, and is a member of the International Association of Astronomical Artists, that's a mouthful, you can be skeptical too. After the talk, ask as many questions as you would like. If he doesn't know the answer, he'll gladly make something up. Now, let's look at two kinds of star clusters, a planet, star colors, some news about a comet, exoplanets, a close-passing asteroid, and Jupiter's red spot while we see what's up in the April sky. Thank you, Lonny.
Very good. Thank you very much, Kim, and welcome everyone. That's a little too loud. Okay. Not going to be... Oh, hold on. There's a remote control that's missing. Technical difficulties. Welcome, everyone. Glad to be here. Oh, well, it would have been nice if I had done this before. Okay.
Got it?
Not yet. There. Okay. And I've got the red dot.
All right, so we're good.
Well, and that doesn't work, so I will have to do this manually. Well, I've been here a long time. It's very good to see you all. I'm glad you're out all there in the cold. And I'd love to be able to show you that I dressed up for you, even wore a tie tonight, but it's too cold, so I'm not going to unzip my jacket. I hope you don't mind. What's up in the April sky is usually what you see on my slide here. Nothing. And I see we have a little bit of haze tonight, but don't be discouraged. We want to encourage you to come often to the observatory when you can, and at home, go out and look up at the sky anyway, because if you can't see what's up in the sky here tonight, you can do it at home any night. All you need is a special piece of equipment that you were born with, and that's this right here. See? It's called the technical term. We use a lot of technical terms here, we amateur astronomers. This is called the naked eye, right? So you've all got one, and we're going to show you how to use it to great effect to learn about what's up in the April sky. We do this every first Saturday of the month, so you can guess next month I'll be back, and you can see what's up in the Very good. We have participation from the audience. Great. May sky, that's correct. I'm going to show you this at the very end, again, for when we do observing here live. We've got a lot of observatories out there. We've got amateur astronomers with their own equipment. And just some things to remind you that we do have, or had, a working gift shop before all of this happened. And we hope that you'll come back and take advantage of both that and our museum. We do encourage you to ask questions. So I'm going to be especially looking for questions from the audience when I'm done. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I like to ask dumb questions myself. So before we get started, some news. Anybody hear about Comet Borisov? It's the second comet to be discovered recently that is not from our own solar system. Not from our own solar system. It came from interstellar space, interstellar, between the stars. And this is very exciting. And we know this because from the way light bounces off of the comet, with special filters, we can see that the light is polarized, just like your sunglasses that you use in the summer. It's specially filtered light. Shows us that the comet was made of tiny, fine particulates as small as the wavelength of light. And this indicates what kind of comet it was, and that it must be very ancient indeed, and not from our solar system. They've been doing some new studies on the comet, and that's very exciting to find an interstellar visitor like that. We've also been looking at the atmospheres of planets around other stars for the first time. When I was young, back in the Pleistocene, that would be the Triassic Age, as I mentioned earlier, there were no known exoplanets, planets beyond the ones in our solar system. And now we know of thousands. And now for the first time, because of a special way to measure the light coming from the stars that these planets orbit, we can tell what their atmospheres are made of. This is very exciting. The atmospheres of planets close to their stars are moving away rapidly because of heating. Right, we know that, but we shouldn't be able to break up the light into a spectrum and tell what those atmospheres are made of because the atmosphere is very thin. However, because of the ultraviolet light coming from these stars, it actually causes the hydrogen gas coming off of the planet to turn to helium, which lets us measure the spectrum for the first time. Very exciting. I thought it was really cool that the second case, the most recent one, which goes by the very easy to remember name HAT-P-18. Repeat after me, HAT- I don't hear any participation from the audience. HAT P18. Thank you. Thank you. We have some enthusiasm from this side of the audience. I know the rest of you are very tired, but bear with me. We'll be done pretty soon. I thought that was cool that HAT P18, as I call it, was discovered by an undergraduate person, Kimberly Paragas. Cool. So students can do useful work. The graphs on the right show a deep dip that you would not ordinarily get from this kind of a spectrum, but it's possible now. So let's see what's up in the sky. And this is something you, audience members, can do for yourselves. Go to csky.org. I see everybody making a mad scramble on their iPads and phones. No? Pencil, paper? Does anybody know what pencil and paper is anymore? No, that's okay. There'll be a review at the end. csky.org is all about the sea and the sky. Go there, click on the astronomy reference guide for the sky, and then you'll get a bewildering array of information on the left. But I ask you to look for the astronomical calendar, which looks ahead to the future and back to the past for any year. I'm going to pick 2021, the current year, and we see that it actually will show you the entire year, but I focused in on just this month. And you can see that there's not a whole lot of excitement this month. We're talking about 2 phases of the moon and a meteor shower. And I will show this again at the end for the test. Did you know there's a test? Yeah, you can't leave until you pass the test. So pay attention. First, April 12th. Wait another week or so, and the moon will be in a phase we call new. Now, what is that? What's a new moon? No moon at all is correct, because the moon, as it goes around the Earth, is going to be closer to the sun in the sky at some times than others, and occasionally it will pass right over or under the sun. New moon. We can't see it. It's not lit up. The dark side is facing us. Now, why don't we have a new moon? Why don't we have an eclipse of the moon? Why doesn't the moon cover the sun every month? We have a new moon. It either goes above or below. But sometimes it passes in front, right? You've heard about a total solar eclipse? Anyone? I don't see. Are your hands cold? Can you? Oh, very good. Again, this side of the audience is very enthusiastic. This side is very sleepy. Are you guys tired? Okay, cold? Yeah, all right. Yeah, we do have air conditioning. All right, so, yeah, it's warm. Well, we don't have a solar eclipse, a total eclipse of the sun, because the moon's orbit is tipped to the Earth's equator, about 5 degrees. So it misses most of the time. The whole orbit does move around like this. It precesses. So every so often, it will carry the moon right in front of the sun. But not every day, not every month. So if you want to figure out exactly when that is, we're using universal time 2:32 in the morning at Greenwich, going through London, England. We're 5 hours ahead of them. So, excuse me. So they're ahead of us. They rotate into the sun first. So you have to subtract 5 hours. So 2 in the morning minus 5 is? Oh, this is complex. Let's add 12. 2 and 12 is 14. 14 minus 5 is? 9 o'clock at night. 9:32 at night. That's the exact phase of the moon. So now you know about universal time. The other phase of the moon that we're familiar with is full, April 27th, right towards the end of the month, about half of a moon or a month later, full moon. And that is the absolute worst time to look for faint objects in the sky. New moon is the perfect time. Full moon is awful because the moon's light does what? Gets in the way, right. So we are currently closer to the new moon. It would be a great time to look, except that we've got some haze. We do have a bright star over there. Look for the second brightest star, Sirius, through the trees. Second brightest star. Anybody know the name of the brightest star? This side of the audience has been very quiet. Brightest star, brighter than Sirius is 8 light years away, 8.6. There's a brighter star 8 1/3 minutes away. Have you heard it? What? It's called SOL. Sol is the sun. Yes, thank you very much. All right, this guy gets a gold star. Yeah, trick questions. I like trick questions. All right, so why is the full moon a super moon this month? Well, every once in a while, we have a coincidence. We have the time when the moon is closest to Earth happening at the time that it's full. So it's going to look as big as it possibly can in the sky, a few percent bigger. Noticeable to the eye? Sorry to disappoint you, no. Well, now, why does the moon come closer? Well, it doesn't go around the Earth in a circle. It's actually an egg shape, an ellipse. Not really extreme. You wouldn't really notice it if you could see the moon's orbit, but it is a little closer. Would you notice the difference? Only if you take pictures and compare them. It's kind of like that, just a little bit. Supermoon. What I find really poetic about the full moon is that every month there's a poetic name for the full moon, given by the Native Americans, by early settlers. And this one is the sprouting grass moon, the growing moon, the egg moon, even the Chad moon, or the fish moon, when fish swim upstream, the shad, or the pink moon. What you can do at home, as I'm going to do now, is use a free computer program to simulate the sky in space, and that would be Celestia, or on the ground, and that would be Stellarium. 2 free programs. I'll mention them again at the end. If you don't want to download and install Celestia, you can use the supercomputers online at SourceForge to render the views in space in real time on a computer, on a phone, on a tablet, on a phablet. What's a phablet? It's a big phone or a small tablet. Take your pick. I'm going to use Stellarium to get us oriented to the sky. Stellarium simulates the sky anywhere in the Earth, past, present, future. And I focused in looking over the roof at Jenny Jump, over the roof of our main building. That way is north, so behind you must be, if you're facing south, the sun will set to the right in the west, and everything that way is east. So now you know your directions. If we look for the Big Dipper, I can click on various stars to name them, like Dubhe and Merak, the pointer stars in the Big Dipper. But the Big Dipper is not one of the 88 officially recognized constellations. Not one. Or if you're a piano player, you can remember that there are 88 constellations because how many keys are there on a piano? I hear, you know, the audience is very bashful over here on my left. You guys all right? You guys cold? All right, we'll speed things up a little so you can walk about when I'm done and actually look at some of these things. If you want to get oriented, it's good to start with the Big Dipper, which is part of Ursa Major. And I'm going to cheat by drawing lines the way you see on a star map. This month at 9 o'clock, 9:15, about when I'll be stopping talking, you're going to see the Great Bear, Ursa Major, upside down, including the Big Dipper, which is actually an asterism, a star picture. The constellations were officially recognized by the International Astronomical Union in 1930, 88 of those. But there's lots of star pictures you can make out of other things, like the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper helps us find by pointing along the pointer stars to this bright star, about 5 times their distance apart, or about the width of your fist held at arm's length, about 5 degrees. 5 times 5, about 25 degrees away. You can find the North Star, Polaris, pole, Earth's North Pole, right? If you draw a line through the Earth between the South and North Poles, it would point in the sky that way, right over the roof at Jenny Jump. And if you look between the Big and Little Dipper, you will see a long constellation, Draco. Next to them, the W and the House. That's what I call them. W is actually Cassiopeia the Queen. The House is Cepheus, her husband, the king, famous for being in the legend of Perseus and Andromeda. If you saw the movie Clash of the Titans, or if you read the book, then you know the story. And if you haven't read the book, you have no excuse. It's been in the library for 3,000 years. Oh, and by the way, there were 2 versions of the movie. These constellations, Big Dipper, or Great Bear, Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Little Dipper, Draco, Dragon, Cassiopeia, Queen, Cepheus, King, never rise and never set. They just spin around the North Pole endlessly. And so they're up there in the daytime, right? So why don't you see them? Sol! Yeah, the sun. Sun gets in the way. Very good. This guy's paying attention. Are you cheating? Do you have a warmer? Do you have one of those hand warmers? Oh, all right. He's keeping warm by his notebook. Excellent. I wonder if you can do that. Is there an app that heats up your phone? Good place to get started learning the sky is the north. These are circumpolar stars that never rise or set. They just spin. But if you look further away from the north, let's go south. South and west. The stars of winter are disappearing in the west. Why is everything moving from east to west? Is the sky moving? No, the Earth is going the other way. The Earth is spinning. Looking down from the North Pole, it's spinning counterclockwise, which means it's going that way. The sky seems to go that way. So if we look towards the west, we will see a large constellation that looks sort of like what it's supposed to be. In Stellarium, I can cheat and show pictures of Orion the Hunter. You can always recognize Orion by the belt of 3 stars. The bright red star Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse. Take your pick. You can pronounce it 8 different ways. It is literally translated the armpit of the giant, the armpit star. But that's a winter constellation. We are now in spring. So what you want to do is look for the disappearing winter triangle. Betelgeuse, Procyon, Sirius. I pointed to Sirius before. You can see it now. And above it, Procyon, and up even higher, almost right overhead, the twins, Gemini, a yellowish and bluish star, Castor and Pollux. Stars of winter, unfortunately disappearing. Those are some of the brightest stars. In Stellarium, there are the twins. Do you see them? There they are. So see, before I finish talking, or as I finish talking, they will be disappearing in the west into the trees. So you can try looking for them now. This is really cool that we're outside. We can actually look while we're seeing them projected on the screen. But the stars of spring are really more the ones that we focus on in the south. And if you want to find your way around the spring sky, there's no better way to do that by using a constellation of the zodiac. There are certain constellations that the sun moves through, the moon, and the planets. Why? Because the solar system is kind of like a pancake. It's pretty flat, except for Mercury, tipped through the Earth's orbit, and Pluto, very tipped. The planets, the comets, the asteroids, the planetoids, all sort of move around in a flat plane, and you can see that drawn against the sky through the signs of the zodiac. The most famous one of spring looks like a backwards question mark. See it? And a triangle next to it. I like to call this by its scientific name, Reversus Interrogus. The backwards that's actually not what it's called. You know, I'll be lying to you a few times tonight, so if you can catch me, that's okay. Right? I know this side of the audience is paying attention. Let's see if that side of the audience can get. Sign of the zodiac comes in the spring. It comes in like a, yeah, who's the lion? Leo, thank you very much, sign of the zodiac. Does it look like a lion? Well, yeah, yes and no. All right, there's very few constellations to me that look like what they're supposed to be. Orion, the lion, and the scorpion. But the scorpion is in summer, and we'll be talking about it another time. You can identify the brightest star in any constellation, usually named Alpha, for the Greek letter, first in the alphabet. Alpha, Leo, is a shortcut used by astronomers. Alpha Leonis, the scientific name, is Regulus. The Arabic astronomers during the Dark Ages kept astronomy alive and named all of the brightest stars. And so to this day, we still use those Arabic names, like Regulus, or Betelgeuse, or Sirius, or Rigel. Very poetic. Now, there are various things to see besides bright stars. Here at UACNJ Observatory, we have some of the darkest skies in the state of New Jersey. Not necessarily tonight, we do have haze sometimes, but you can see the Milky Way galaxy looking like a river of milk, a faint band, from horizon to horizon in summer or winter. Right now it's disappearing in that direction. Things aren't fully dark yet. So unfortunately we won't see that. But I do urge you to come back here on dark nights. Come here not only for the first Saturday of each month when I'll be blathering about the sky, as my wife likes to say, blathering on and on about what's up in the April, May, June, July, August, September, October sky. The rest of the year is kind of cold. We'll be doing that online strictly. But there are other Saturdays here, open, free to the public. We have all kinds of topics from gravity waves to black holes to the latest discoveries. So do please come on back. It's all free. It's all for you. And it's all done by people who do it for love, not money. And that's why I'm an amateur astronomer, not a professional. To find your way around the sky, you can also find what we call deep sky objects. Once you know some of these stars, like this one is a famous animal with claws, not the scorpion. Any guesses? The sign of the zodiac. Cancer, the crab. Very good. It looks exactly like a crab. Yeah, right? Even without the picture, it looks exactly like a... No. All right. Well, if you can find the crab, you can find a beehive of activity right there. A cluster of stars. You'll never guess the scientific term that professional astronomers call a cluster of stars. Go ahead. Star cluster. Very good. Yeah, this is a famous star cluster, M44, named for Charles Messier, who cataloged all these annoying objects that got in the way of his search for comets, which are, after all, fuzzy and small. This is fuzzy and small, too. Right? In early telescopes, everything was fuzzy and small. So he cataloged over 100 objects and said, I'm throwing these out. Who needs them? I need the comets. And you know why we remember Charles Messier to this day? Why do we remember him? It's like my mother always said, never throw anything away. We remember him for what he threw out. The Messier list, 104 objects. This is one of them, the beehive cluster. It's a cluster of stars, and if you lived amongst them, your night sky would be littered with streetlights. Very exciting. You can find that in a small pair of binoculars. There are other star clusters in the sky. There are a lot of other kinds of objects. Here's one there, Gemini. See that, fuzzy? See that? Looks like a cloud, and so astronomers gave it the scientific term nebula. If you look that up, it means cloud. So if somebody is giving you a speech, like I am tonight, and I'm kind of making a lot of mistakes and it's all very fuzzy, you would call me nebulous. It's a good insult word. I urge you to write that down. I see you're all scribbling, pencil, paper, pen, iPads. Fantastic. I don't see much happening out there. Nobody's taking notes. Your fingers are too cold. I get it. Nebulous. It's a great way to insult somebody. You're being nebulous. Means fuzzy, like a cloud. So there's these beautiful star-forming regions in the sky called nebula. One of the most famous is in Orion's belt, the Orion Nebula. There are many in the sky. The amateur astronomers here can show you those tonight if it's clear enough. If not, we're out of luck. Oh, here's one of my favorites. In the winter sky, looks a little bit like a rose. Like a rose. You'll never guess the name. I challenge you. The what? Yep, the Rosette Nebula. Very good. This side of the audience got it. I'm very proud of you. I was getting a little disappointed because these guys got it. They're on target. But you guys, I know it's cold. I know nobody's that enthused, but come back in the warmer weather. What's up in the May sky? We'll be able to see each other. It'll be lighter later. Rosette. There's a lot of pretty nebulas out there in the night sky. But we're going to focus and end this part of my talk in the eastern sky, where we can follow and find stars by using a very simple technique that we amateurs like to call star hopping. Star hopping. Find the Big Dipper's handle and use the arc to go in an Arcturus. Yep, arc to Arcturus. Very good. Alpha Boötes or Boötes. It's probably pronounced Boötes, but it's got an umlaut and it's complicated and it's just easier to say it the way it looks. B-O-O-T-E-S. Say it! Boötes. Booties. Whatever you like. Alpha Boötes is the herdsman, bright star in the herdsman. It's got an orange color in the real sky. In stellarium, colors are not that vivid, so don't be disappointed. The real sky is a lot more exciting. Arc to Arcturus, and you will find a nice bright star of spring coming up in the southeast. There are some minor constellations. If you look low enough in the sky, you do need a nice clear horizon. Where I live, there are buildings, there are trees. I don't know about you, but all of the smaller homes are disappearing where we live, and they're tearing them down and putting up giant homes that block the sky. So you do need a nice horizon where the sky meets the ground, either at the shore or maybe in a nice park or an area where we're up high like Jenny Jump, UACNJ observatories. And you can see these little constellations here look exactly like what they're supposed to be, Corvus and Crater. Corvus and Crater. Can you tell what they are? I'll give you a few moments. What are they? A cup and a crow, right? So the cup kind of looks like a cup. The crow looks exactly like a crow, right? You don't have to believe everything I say. I challenge you, in fact, ask a lot of questions. We've got other expert amateur astronomers here. They've been doing this for decades, long time, and they love it when you ask questions. They don't love it if you kick their tripod or their mount while they're trying to show you the sky. So do be careful in the dark when we finish. So I urge you to get familiar with the sky. You can buy yourself a star chart called the planisphere that looks like this. Looks like a circle with a rivet in the middle at the North Star. You can turn it around and adjust the sky for any time of night, any time of the year. It's a great way to learn. That's how I learned. We happen to sell them here. Shameless advertisement. Oh, hand warmers, nice. That is stellarium. There is a minor meteor shower, say that quickly 3 times. Minor meteor shower that peaks on April 22nd into the 23rd. Best time to see meteors is later. If you can't stay up late, midnight, when we're looking right down the Earth's shadow into space, that's okay, go out earlier. Best equipment is this. What is it? Naked eye, very good. And a lounge chair, because your eye has a wider field of view than any optical instrument. I should stop moving my hand. There is a new kind of telescope that uses several lenses 5 inches across, a bunch of them, up to 40. There's going to be an array of 40 that gets a big wide view of the sky, and it looks like a fly's eye. It's really amazing. Whole new design of telescope. But your eye is very good at catching meteors because it gets a nice wide angle. They seem to come from one point in the sky, just like railroad tracks that never meet, seem to meet in the distance. Meteors are coming from debris left over from a comet with the very fancy name C/1861 G1, Thatcher. An old comet breaking up, leaves debris. The debris enters the Earth's atmosphere, it burns up, we see it. How big is it? Is it big as a house? Of my fist? A bread box? Does anybody say that anymore? Big as a bread box? Bigger than a bread? How big? Grain of sand. Yeah, those are tiny, burning up. Meteors. So if you want to see a meteor shower, you do need a very dark sky. The brighter meteor showers, the Geminids, are in winter. The Perseids in August. And I'll be talking about that in, you guessed it, what's up in the August. You guys are bright. Excellent. So look for the Lyrids or Lyrids around towards the end of the month. And again, we're using Stellarium, and Celestia is another program you can play with. A couple other items in the news before we finish. The Great Red Spot. What a great name for a storm, right? It's big, it's great, it's red. What do we call it? The astronomers got together. It took them a few years to figure this out. The Great Red Spot. It's a giant hurricane. Back when it was discovered 400 years ago in small telescopes, it was 3 times the length of our planet Earth, about 25,000 miles across. It's now since shrunk to about a little bit bigger than the width of the Earth. However, do not fear. Don't panic. Douglas Adams said this in his series, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't panic. The red spot's not going away. Even though it is shrunk, they've done new measurements with the Juno spacecraft that's orbiting Jupiter right now, and special infrared equipment on new ground-based telescopes, and the new telescopes going up. The James Webb telescope's going to look at this. They can tell with infrared that the powerhouse running the Great Red Spot, the heat source, is not going away anytime soon. In fact, it's getting stronger. So even though flakes are coming off, you see that flake? Little thing coming off of the left side, as other storms pass it, eating off little bits of the red spot, it's not going away anytime soon. I know. A lot of you in the audience were worried, especially this side right here, the quiet side. So please do not worry. And finally, asteroid number 99942, Apophis. Now, I pronounced this Apophis for the longest time until I wrote a book and did a video about Apophis. It's actually Apophis, a god of the dread, ancient Egyptian god. This is a large asteroid the size of 3 football fields, over 1,000 feet across, 340 meters. And if it hit the Earth, it would cause what we call scientifically a very big explosion. But fear not, although it's coming very close, it is going to miss us. And they just did accurate calculations that show in the next pass, after April 13, 2029, in 2068, it will miss us again. After that, anybody's guess. But so far, we'll be safe. Although the April 13, 2029 pass is going to come within the orbits of our geostationary satellites. Less than 22,000 kilometers? No, miles. Yep, only 19,500 miles from the Earth. Now it will be big enough that we'll be able to see it, bright enough, we'll be able to see it with the unaided eye, a 3.5 magnitude star. Very cool, and it will be moving very fast. And the Earth's gravity will bend its orbit so much, it'll change it from one class of asteroid to another. It's going to be a whole different class with its orbit changed to go outside the Earth's orbit. Very cool. No danger, we'll get a good look at it. New studies using the NASA's radio antenna in California show a more accurate orbit. They used to look at this asteroid with the big dish in Puerto Rico, the Arecibo dish. That has, since you probably heard, has collapsed due to storms, earthquakes, and another storm. So it's really a very sad state of affairs. It was the world's biggest at 1,000 feet across, as big as the asteroid. Can you imagine? Built into a natural bowl in the Earth. But the Chinese have built a bigger one, not 300 meters, but 500 meters across. And so maybe they will be studying it and getting a good radar image in the year 2029, when I expect most of us will be around. I hope to be around to see that. So, a quick review. I've thrown a lot of information at you, thrown a lot of scientific terms at you, like naked eye. But fear not, you can ask a lot of questions of all of us, all we amateur astronomers here. We love questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question, so do not be embarrassed. A quick review: April 12th, April 22, April 27, new moon, meteor shower, full moon. Got it? See you all scribbling furiously, right? In the future, in my science fiction story, I hope to publish that soon, we have phlablets. Phlablets. I'll leave it to your imagination what that might be. Not a phablet, not a phone tablet, but a phlablet. I don't see anybody using their phlablets or phones or anything. Now, note the difference between tonight, right, looking south, tonight when we see the constellation Orion setting in the west, Leo the lion high in the sky, and little constellations below it, and the stars of east, Virgo coming up in the east, just about 11, 12 days later. You see that? The middle of the month. Let's do it again. April 3rd, same time, 9:15 at night, the sky is shifted. And that's because the Earth is moving around the sun. And as we move around the sun, we're looking in different directions. If you think about it, between winter and summer, we're looking in opposite directions. Completely different constellations in the sky. Orion in one, the scorpion who stung him and killed him and sent him into the sky in the other, according to an ancient legend of the Greeks. Completely, the gods put them in opposite parts of the sky so they never meet again. Summer for the scorpion, winter for Orion, setting right now over in that direction. And so what happens a month later, this is south, 8 o'clock at night, April 15. Now watch what happens. May, quite a difference. Leo's much higher. You're going to see this in my next talk. What's up in the May sky? Very good. So before we go, some homework. I refer you to, say after me, UACNJ. UACNJ.org. That's our website. It's got a compendium of all kinds of information about our observatories, about upcoming events here, other astronomical events, references. You can still read paper magazines, Sky and Telescope, astronomy written for the layperson like ourselves. Again, not professional astronomer. You can get them online. There's a part you can pay for. There's free parts. You can download apps, Stellarium, Celestia, free, or you can even run it right off of their servers. And I found, since I have an Android phone, I found recently 10, count them, free apps that when you hold your phone to the sky will show you exactly what you're looking at. Change the direction, it will change with your phone. Keyed into your phone's GPS. Really cool. Try it out. It's free. And if you want to pay for something, there's even more apps. Lots of stuff out there. I also refer you to my website, astronomyinmotion.com, linked to the International Association of Astronomical Artists, of which I am a member. I do space animation, space virtual reality, and space art. And you can see that on my website, where I shamelessly advertise my interactive virtual reality book with a picture of my wife's hand on the cover. So with that, I want to say thank you. You've been a great audience, and I hope to see you again. Come on back to Jenny Jump Observatories again. Thank you.
All right. Can everyone hear me? All right. Thank you, Lonny, for a great presentation. I'm not going to get too close, otherwise microphone feedback. But I'm going to solicit, we are actually live streaming this, so if you ever are interested in a presentation but can't physically make it to our location, we are live streaming it on YouTube. You can we usually send up a link on our Facebook, also on our website. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. That way, if you can't get here, that's a good way. So since it is the end of presentation, I'm going to ask our online chats if they have any questions. And I'm going to, while they're possibly typing, I'm going to go through a few minutes, a couple items for our live audience here. So, couple things. If you need to use the restroom, we do have a porta potty off to my right, your left. Our sales desk is open. Like I said, we do have hand warmers. He mentioned our planispheres. It's a little gift shop, and all proceeds do go to helping keep our public programs free and keep our lights on so we can keep offering public programs. When you go to physically leave the location, please actually do use your headlights. Even though it messes up dark vision, we prefer to be safe, and it hurts to get hit by a car. Don't ask me how I know.
Oh.
Yeah, don't do it. So we do actually have a couple of the observatories open. They are in the telescopes are in the shed type buildings off to my left, your right. I believe since it did actually clear up somewhat nicely, they might be showing something. I'm not sure what. They haven't told me yet. And if they can't get something through the eyepiece, I believe they do actually have a slideshow going of what we were able to see previously. You okay there, Lonnie?
Yeah, just get this off so I don't have to do it.
All right. So, one of our online audience had said, is actually a member of our organization, and he said, "Hey, Lonnie, just so you know, there are stellarium backgrounds for the Jenny Jump location if you should want to, and to email him if you would like."
Thank you.
So, are there any questions from our live audience? All right, hold on.
Who's the owner of the telescopes here? Is it your club or others?
Okay, I can actually answer that one. All the telescopes here in the sheds are either owned by UACNJ as an organization, or there are a few that are actually owned by our member clubs. We do have a couple, I believe, of our member clubs who share an observatory with a scope. And unfortunately, I don't believe either of those are open tonight. We do have a couple of the UACNJ owned scope open tonight. So, and I saw there was a question over here. Hold on. And
You said the asteroid was 2029. Did I hear that correctly? And then I have a question about that.
Sure.
The asteroid is 2029, so it'll be visible. How fast is the asteroid moving, and how long will it be visible from Earth, and where?
I don't know the specifics. It'll be moving very fast. You'll be able to see the motion across the sky, probably. So the last I heard, it should be visible for on the order of hours, not minutes. And so I'll have to look that up. That's a very good question.
Thank you, sir.
all right, another thing that I actually did forget. We do ask that since this is still during COVID restrictions, that you, while you're near people, do keep your mask on and up, just for your safety and ours, so we can continue having volunteers. And also, social distancing, the 6 feet apart, is kind of in effect. So, are there any other questions? Raise your hand so you can bring over the microphone so our online audience can hear. Anything? Bueller? All right.
You guys know everything about the sky.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lonnie, for a great talk. And have a good night, guys.
See you out there.